Hi Conscious Business friends, this is Lou Hamburger again, and today I'm going to tell you why I became a conscious business coach. My journey started all the way back in 1999. I was working as an IT consultant all over the world and I was a happy man. I had a good income, a big mouth, nice suits and everything was going well. Until I got back pain. And the pain became so severe that there was a risk I had to be operated. In order to prevent that, I visited an alternative healer in Amsterdam. And she did a very good job. We drank a cup of tea and then she said, you should read this book. I said, what book? And she pushed a book to the other side of, to my side of the table, and it was Conversations with God. And I said, oh, no, that's not for me. I am from Amsterdam, I'm totally not religious, and I get red stains in my neck from these religions. But she insisted, so I just paid and put the book in my backpack and forgot about it. The next day, I flew to the United States and I wanted to connect my laptop to the plug in my seat, but it didn't work. And I couldn't work because my battery was empty. So I didn't have anything to do, so I started to read this book she gave me, and it was actually very interesting. It was so interesting that I continued to read the other books by Neil Donald Walls, and in the years that followed, I tried to implement all those spiritual principles in my daily life. Neil Donald Walls breaks down everything we learned from religions about God and life and replace them with spiritual principles. Very interesting. What happened was that the gap widened between me and my new personality and the businesses I worked for as an employee and I worked with as a contractor. And I didn't understand why until 2003. In 2003, I watched a documentary film called Decorporation, and that opened my eyes. That film really opened my eyes. They explained that a corporation works as a psychopath. The better the managers can mimic the personality traits as a psychopath, the more profit is made. And also, the bigger the corporation, the more they act as a psychopath. So that was really an eye-opener, and I wanted to do something about it. So I created my own company, and I called that the first and only conscious business in the world. I was stupid because I didn't know anything about what happened in the rest of the world, but I thought I was the only one. But still, I was struggling more and more until 2016. In 2016, Neil Donald Walls announced another course called Conscious Business School. I registered immediately for that course. I was one of the first students, and I learned a lot from them. I learned that there are different principles for businesses than there are for people. I also learned that you cannot implement those principles in a business if the leaders and the owners are not on board. And I learned that you first have to implement those principles in your personal life as a business leader, and then you can implement them in business. And this is of course a very short summary of a 2-year course, but it was extremely interesting. I decided to combine all these principles, these personal and the business principles, in one e-book. I also developed some principles of my own that are related to a conscious community. Because you can imagine that the more businesses become conscious, the more they start to cooperate with each other. And in this cooperation, you have, again, other principles to apply. And here we are today. Businesses that continue to work as psychopaths are in a downgoing spiral. And I'm happy to help them to turn this spiral around, to implement personal principles, business principles, and community principles. And I'm convinced that together we can do this. We can make this world for our planet, for our businesses, and for ourselves.